song, man. What a tune. What a tune. We finally got there.
Do you know what? I think I can't decide if I'm more enjoying playing great Les Pauls or if actually the trip down memory lane that Pete and I had talking about Gary Moore wasn't the highlight. So yes, welcome back to Andertons TV.
Hello. Please like and subscribe.
This is a gratuitous opportunity to promote the fact that the Epiphone Les Paul Greeny is on sale at Andertons now for £999, down from...
That's a good deal, man.
I think its list price is $14.99 and it's sort of been selling pretty well actually at $12.99. But anyway, $9.99 while stocks last.
$9.99.
And we'll talk about that in a minute.
It's a very German number, isn't it? 999.
Absolutely. But Greeny as a guitar, is it the most mythical?
Is it like the unicorn? So is that the unicorn of guitars, isn't it? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I mean, as far as Les Pauls are concerned, when I think of famous Les Pauls, I think about the Beast and I think about Greeny, and then you've got Strats. You think about Gilmour's Number One and Clapton's Blackie and all that kind of stuff.
Stevie Ray's, but
yeah, Greeny has a beautiful story. It's a 1959 Les Paul. I am holding the current kind of fully worn replica Gibson custom shop version of the Greeny.
So much money.
Now the story of Greeny, and called Greeny because I assume the original owner was Peter Green, right? So Peter Green had this 59 Les Paul when back in the day, Yardbird stuff and then Fleetwood Mac and all this kind of stuff. This is where again the reverse round neck pickup and all those in between tones starts that whole mythology and that
was that a mistake as well, wasn't it? Something like that.
Some people say it is, some people say it wasn't. Who knows? We will never know. He's no longer with us to ask. Roll on to the early 70s. Gary Moore's in a band called Skid Row. They're supporting Fleetwood Mac. Peter Green lends Gary Moore his Les Paul. I think it's a beautiful story, and I'm relaying this entirely off Wikipedia, so if it's not true, apologies.
Yeah, trust Wikipedia.
There's a beautiful story which I think shows the character perhaps of the man in Peter Green, that Gary Moore wanted to buy, or I think actually Peter Green offered to sell the Les Paul to Gary Moore. Yeah. Gary Moore said, I haven't got any money, I can't afford it. And Peter Green said, well, look, just flog the SG you're playing, and whatever you get for that, give me that, and you can have the Les Paul. So he flogs his SG and gets 160 quid for it.
Dude.
That then Peter Green says, oh, no, hang on, I only paid 120 for this, so don't give me the 160, just give me back what I paid for it. Nuts, right? Gary Moore, who we don't talk about enough.
He is a guitar legend.
Yes.
One of the greats. End of story.
We went through...
Sorry, I'm swearing.
No, we went through
but
that.
I mean it.
We went through
Parisian Walkways.
2 or 3... Yeah, Gary Moore. So still got the blues and Parisian Walkways and stuff. We went sort of back earlier in his career.
Just go and watch him live as well, man. Honestly, the live stuff is just incredible. Yeah. All the licks are just on point. Everything he plays is just completely clean and just so well chosen. The notes there's no overplaying. He does sometimes. He goes a little crazy on the thing, but. I mean, I remember my father-in-law we filmed up at Marshall when Jim Marshall was still alive. We did the last kind of, he was doing a documentary on Jim Marshall. It never went out. But we went to Marshall up in Milton Keynes and Gary Moore came to play with the trio. And I watched him play live, Still Got the Blues with him and a trio, and he played some other stuff as well. And it's just mesmerizing just to watch him there and just bend one note and you just go, man, this guy had it. He was one of a kind,
I almost feel
getting all
like...
soppy here.
No, I agree. I almost feel like somehow Slash kind of took the spotlight away a little bit. Maybe Gary Moore didn't have the commercial success that Guns N' Roses had. Perhaps the fact that he passed away. I don't know.
But isn't that just like with every great guitar player? If you see a really great guitar player out there, if they're not, there's so many great guitar players out there. So many great guitar players. I'm one of them. No, but if they don't have a commercial, if they don't have that hit.
Yeah.
I mean, Still Got the Blues. That cover I told you earlier. That was the cover on that Still Got the Blues that made me buy my first Les Paul. Because I want to be that kid who sits in his bedroom.
And here's the weird thing as well. When we were going back on YouTube this morning, when we watched the whole we were watching videos off of the Wild Frontier album, which had some big hits, and he's playing Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah, and like Jackson's, I think
Jackson was even before
that.
So
before he started playing Gibson.
His Les Paul journey was obviously right at the beginning, and then probably more towards the end.
And then the last gig Taylor showed us was where he was playing like a Firebird or something, you know. Yeah. And we had his son in here. Actually, there was a video of you interviewing his son. I remember, like ages ago. You want to watch that up there, but. He definitely he was one of the guys that made me want to play guitar. Yeah. When I first heard that. When is that from, that album?
Still Got the Blues.
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
But you talk about players who can make a guitar cry, and
and make people cry with that.
But like he is. And again, what I love as well in all those Parisian Walkway type and Still Got the Blues and everything, it's like there's a beautifully soulful melody which is all about the feel rather than the technique.
Yeah.
And then he'll just literally, just as the at the breakdown, it'll be like, and it'll be just like, oh my God, he's got some skills. Anyway.
But don't forget about Peter Green. Peter Green, go back to listen to all of that old stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like even John Mayer plays that sort of, whatever it is. He had something as well when he was playing. What's the album where he's wearing the hat and he's really skinny on the front of the? What is that?
Isn't that Albatross? I don't know what but that's the very first. Or is that just called Fleetwood Mac? Wasn't that just the?
It was before that, wasn't it? It was just blues back then. Before it was Fleetwood Mac, it was like a blues kind of thing, and it's just if you listen to that stuff and you sit down and really sort of get into it, the way he plays with this, man. He's just got this and then that, right?
Do you know, here's another. So he performed at Guildfest, you know, the local festival. Yeah. Obviously, you know, I don't know how many years before he died, a few years before he died, but well after. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but he was
probably in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, right.
And Anderton sponsored the stage, so there's a picture of Peter Green, massive Andertons logo behind him like that. Maybe try and dig that out. But I never met him, which is kind of like sad. But
and he was just faffing about, you know, like that kind of legend.
Continuation of the ownership of the guitar story is that in 2006 or 7, something like that, Gary Moore sold it on for a chunk of dough. Like now we're in the middle of like when 59 Les Pauls are going for.
And you think somebody like Gary Moore has to sell a guitar to make a living? Just don't be a musician. Honestly, kids, get a real job, because being a musician is just
and it went from one collector to another over a period of maybe 10 years, something like that. Right. And then Kirk Hammett, Metallica's guitar player, bought it and owns it and has actually used it, you know, quite a bit. Even though I don't necessarily see Kirk as a sort of a synonymous Les Paul. You know, I probably think of him with, you know, ESP, Superstrats and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But so he's the current owner, and obviously all of the reissues that have been done with his permission and using.
How much money have, no offense, but Gibson made out of this whole debacle? I mean, fair enough. I mean, that's what it is.
There are 3 versions of the Greeny, official versions of the Greeny you can buy. You can go Epiphone. There's a Gibson standard kind of version, which is about 2,700, and then the full fat everything version here. This was the most affordable one.
Wasn't there another one where you can get Meet Kirk?
Yeah, so this one is about 19 grand. And you know what? This goes to show how many fans there are of this guitar. Just Andertons, I think, has sold 8 or 9 of these.
Wasn't there a guy that bought 2 of them?
There was one guy that bought 2. Guy walked into the shop and I get a phone call. Yeah, there's a guy in the shop here. He says he'd like to say hello. He's buying 2 Greenies, the John Mayer Silver Martin and something else as well. It was a bit like, okay, this is going to be a good day in the guitar department. But yeah, there was the 50 grand meet and greet where you had to fly to Nashville.
Was that the same as that though, but with like a hug and a cuddle?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Did Kirk go, anyway, hello, thanks for buying.
Super limited edition. This is the very, very last one that we've got. I believe the very last one we'll ever get. And just so you know, this is serial number 943345.
Interesting. There's no Les Paul logo on the headstock. I just noticed that.
It's all worn off, isn't it?
Yeah. This one is serial number 2408 15 22 192 IGC. And look at the headstock. That's
So-
what we talked about. That it's like.
I still think it looks weird with Epiphone written on a proper Gibson-shaped headphone.
But you're the one that
headstock.
what's it called? Not advocated for. Why don't they just put that on? I remember you in the videos. You and Rob was like, just put that on there. I like that. I think why don't they just do that? It's like Fender putting on a Squire, right?
So
anyway, sorry.
In terms of the differences between the two guitars, they're obviously structurally both Les Pauls, so that even the Epiphone one is a long tenon neck join, mahogany body, mahogany neck, maple top but with a veneer for the flame rather than a solid piece of maple.
Right.
The correct headstock shape, as we just said. Yeah, little details like all the writing has worn off the poker chip.
The same on this one. Oh, the button, so you got like top hats with silver top hats and normal. I don't know where that comes from.
It's got some decent quality hardware on it, but most importantly, the pickups are the Gibson custom shop, custom wound versions of the pickups that they took out of the Greeny.
So these are the pickups that are in that one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, obviously these have been relicked, but other than that, they're the same.
That's why it's 18 grand. Sorry, 19
so really
grand.
this video is all about this guitar because we've bought a bulk quantity of these to do at $9.99, including a really nice case, which I will grab. You got the pink
no blanket
inside,
though, Lee, no blanket. We want the blanket back.
You get, I don't think you get a lot of case candy with it. It looks like you get a sticker. You get a nice little inspection report from the Andertons people. And it's a nice case, it's a nice case.
I love it.
There's a lot of...
It's great, man.
There's a lot of, sort of like, what is a classic PAF supposed to sound like? And is it low gain, high gain, whatever? And I think, because they were all hand wound back in the day, there's almost like, there's no two the same.
No, exactly.
But that does sound like a slightly hotter one to me.
I think they never, because now they're counting the winds, aren't they? So as it goes through, you can see how many winds is going on the pickup. I think back then it was like, whatever, it looks the same thickness. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that looks kind of as thick as that one does. Yeah. And did they pot them? I don't know if these are potted. But it's still pushing the amp though. This is all set to kind of a clean sound, so... It's pushing the amp a little bit. Hang on, let me take the compressor off. Maybe not so much when
maybe
the compressor's off.
Pushing it a bit.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if I take my glasses off, I couldn't tell the difference.
Well, that's...
It plays really nicely, man,
We'll do that. I'll play the other one in a minute and we'll see if it sounds the same.
I haven't played that yet, so... And then the middle position... Oh, let me go to the bridge first. Good sounding pickups, man. And these are what, like 300 quid or something?
300 quid. You can buy the Greeny, the official Greeny set from Gibson, and they're 300 quid for a set. So it's not bad to get.
So you're like 600 quid, and then 300 quid, and then you're like, you know. You need lots of reverb on
Marks
that.
and Spencer's, for keeping that song in everyone's, brain sphere.
Yeah,
Can I just show me the chord? What's the one with the B as the bottom note?
Oh. So it's like I play these chords all the time. They're like gospel, like it's a 5, but instead of playing Like play was playing 5, 1, right, so it's like a turn on. So you get 4, 5, 1. So instead of playing that, it's like a sus, so you got an A chord, but then you got a B in the bass. Right, and then you go like to, but you don't go to an E, you go to an E major, so 7. So you got that instead. So you got like, and so it goes like. So he only plays like the G, B, and the E string. But the first little when he goes, so it's like a little like I can do that. I know what I'm doing, kind of. You know what I mean? Hello. So like, but you have to listen to it because the nuances. Actually, what it is, the song is, I think...
Don't Let Me Down.
It's Don't Let Me Down, isn't it? Because it's like...
Which one came first?
Let me down.
Which one came first? Surely,
that's a good question.
Surely Albatross came first.
Don't Let Me Down,
Well,
Let It Be sessions in 1969, okay?
Okay, well, Albatross must be before that.
Albatross was released in 1968.
Okay.
So
the Beatles ripped it off. So
who wrote the original
nowadays
Fleetwood Mac,
Peter Green would be
1968?
suing the Beatles
Yeah, it
for
was like
stealing
Ed
his chord
Sheeran
signal.
doing something, you know. So, wow, okay. But so they've obviously, so John Lennon has obviously listened to that on the radio, gone... And he goes, don't let me down. And then he puts that chord in, which Peter Green puts in for this. Right. Don't let me down. Right? So, hey. Because that's the chord. That's the chord.
It's one of my favourite videos we've done for ages,
That's
Pete.
the chord, man. So he goes like, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Right? So you go. And he goes. Wow, I never.
There we go. The lawyers are all over this one, aren't they? It's like the Peter Green estate is suing the ass out of the big John Lennon estate. What's going on?
This is awesome. I never thought about that because it is like, because I listened to it because we did the video and I played a bit of the Albatross and I was listening. How do you play that? I can't remember. And he goes like that. Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
Well, there we are. Okay, now, which is the enormous lead up to the middle position sound.
To the middle position sound.
Which I guess is why this guitar is sort of most famous.
I don't care anymore. That blew my mind. I didn't think about that at all. I did think that they were similar, but wow. Anyway, so the middle position is an accident, is it? Or, I mean, is it?
Supposedly, the guitar went in for repair. The neck pickup was wired back into the guitar and simply was wired in the opposite direction, if you like. The polarity or the phasing of it is now reversed to the bridge one. So instead of the two pickups together, sort of having a fatter sort of added tone, you get like this slightly thinner phase cancelled kind of sound.
So you get this kind of thing. This is the neck pickup. And then the Brit. And then you got the middle, which is like... It's really quacky. Let me just pick up my Les Paul and show you the middle position.
Yeah, so a normal middle position is just like a straight combination of the two, pickups,
so that's like this. No, it's out of tune. It's a Gibson, but what can you do? It's an acquired taste. I'm not sure if I like it. I think maybe with
just put more reverb and a bit of fatness on it.
Because he played that. What's the song? liked that chord now I'm listening back. I think Peter Greeny really liked this chord. That D with the E in the bass. So you got back to the neck. Middle position. I get it for solos, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll push right through a band. I mean, I'm enjoying playing this guitar, man. There's something about it,
a couple of other
dude.
things to... I mean, by the way, if you're not a big fan of that sort of reverse wound middle position sound, it's literally 2 wires
and you
on
just
a terminal.
go like that.
And, you know, take it into any tech or look it up on the internet with your soldering iron. You can make that like a normal...
on the back, you just take that off, put another... Wow, that's great.
The other thing that is slightly different about...
£1,000 for this? Yeah,
so this is from the new inspired by Gibson or relatively new Epiphone range. Mm-hmm. So it has Epiphone's version of the VOS finish. So rather than the thicker polyurethane sort of very high gloss finish that you get on the normal Epiphone Les Paul standard, this has a much thinner, slightly matte finish designed to give it a slightly more aged look. There's no relicking or damage or anything. It's just a sort of a slightly worn through kind of finish.
But it'll wear a bit more...
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, that's the guitar.
Can I please? Because I haven't played that yet. And that's £19,000.
Yeah.
That's like a deposit for a house.
It is.
That's like,
or even the whole house, depending on where you live.
Exactly. Oh man, immediately I just feel like, oh yeah, because of the worn neck. If you look at the back of the neck here, that's a special.
That has been through some action.
I wonder. I would like to try it. Wouldn't it be amazing? If you're watching, can you come in, man? I want to try your guitar. The neck's... This is weird, isn't it? What do you feel about the neck? Is that the same width? Is that slightly smaller?
It's very hard to tell because where there's
worn off,
right through to the bare wood, it gives it quite a different feel. But
let me go right. Oh yes, this doesn't have to crack in the middle, does it? Wow, man. That's a Deco and a Cali 76. Oh, it does have
quite. I think with the right
licks... Did it have a neck
licks,
break on it as well? Did they break the neck? Look.
I'm not sure.
But that looks like a neck break, surely, look.
Well, it looks like half the headstock has been busted off at some point, doesn't it?
So they purposely broke the neck.
Well, they finished it as if it had a neck break or a headstock.
Dude, it sounds amazing, man. It feels amazing. Let's do the Oh, it's a chord, man. Wow, you know what, this is great. I would pay 19 grand for this.
When I hear you play that, because we were going to jam that as a outro or something, but I don't think it wants 2 guitars.
Yeah, I did the loop.
It's almost too busy, isn't it?
It's too busy because it's so. Zoning out.
I'm not even sure on the original whether he plays the droning E note or if that's just the bass player.
Yeah, I think he just plays.
Do do It could, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
So here's the question.
Gobsmacked with this
Do
guitar.
you want 19 of these or one of them?
I would take one of these. To be completely honest with you, if the money wasn't the problem, I would take one of these over 19 of these any day. But that is me, and I think that's because I'm blessed. #blessed with all of the guitars we play all the time.
But money is such a relative thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
some people can buy.
The guy that bought 2 of those showed me a picture of his office, and there were like 40 custom shop Les Pauls on the wall.
And then it's no issue. Money is not.
But that's what I mean. So you just sit there going, whatever seems. If 19,000 seems extravagant to you, I mean, I sit here sometimes. I take my family out for lunch and spending.
Yeah, it's not 100 quid.
100 quid on 4 people eating in a pub seems extravagant to me. But and of course, for 99.9% of the population, that kind of dough is super extravagant on a guitar.
Because you probably buy. You couldn't buy a 59 version of this, but you can buy an old Gibson for 19 grand. You know.
Oh, you're not a 59 though.
No, not a 50. I'm not saying that. But you can buy you can buy a 60 something, couldn't you?
Probably. Well, I don't.
Could you? I don't know.
It's a good question, actually.
Could you buy for 20 grand? Could you buy an old Gibson?
I bet you. Again, we'd have to. I bet you if you looked at a really early 70s Les Paul now, you'd be into 5 figures for those. Am I right?
Really?
There?
I mean, I had the one I sold. I had a 1976 Les Paul. I think I paid like 800 quid for that back in the day, and I sold it. And if I had to pay that back, buy that back now, I don't know, but what would that be? Anyway, you probably know out there. But yeah, if money was no object, I would buy this. I think
if I could have that and also track down on the internet the Collector's Choice Beast, I think you'd arguably have the 2 best Les Pauls.
I mean, no,
apart from that one.
This is great.
Yeah, but that's got no providence, has it?
No.
What I mean is, as in the 2 most famous, maybe.
But do you buy signature guitars? I mean, are we in that thing? Do you think signature guitars? I mean, I can't talk because But
all Les Pauls are a signature guitar.
All Les Pauls are signature guitars. But are you? Put that to one side. Are you a signature guitar guy? Do you buy the John Mayer? Do you buy the Clapton? Do you buy? Even the Silver Sky is a signature guitar, but you sell loads of those, not to people that.
I could 100%, and I know this sounds maybe slightly vulgar, because there's a million things I could spend money on that would be much more beneficial to the world than that.
Yeah.
But I probably am now, maybe it's something that just happens the older you get, but I idolise some of these players and their guitars, and I probably would be a bit like, why would you buy?
Who would you buy this? Would you buy it because Peter Green has played it, because Gary Moore has played it, or Kirk Hammett has played
Definitely
it?
2 out of those 3. I'm just not saying which 2.
It's like buying a drum kit because Lars Ulrich has played it. No offense, Lars. Because,
no, look,
No, I as much as I love Metallica as a band, I don't want to go there. But
if I was going to buy a Kirk Hammett signature something or other,
you're looking at
it would be one of the ESPs, or maybe even the Gibson.
I wouldn't buy any of those.
No, we're not big Metallica. They didn't have the impact on us growing up that it had on millions of other people, did it?
No.
We're just the wrong age, I think.
And also, I think Kirk is not the. I mean, as much as he's a cool dude, I would love to meet him one day because he seems like one of the coolest dudes. And this guitar doesn't resonate with me and him. Him and this guitar, I see the ESP thing much more than this, and I see this much more Gary Moore.
All the Kirk Hammett stuff that is iconic is shreddy whammy bar stuff, isn't
and
it?
And this guitar,
this is a Parisian Walkway.
It's Gary Moore for me. It's the kid sitting on his bed with the Marshall Blues breaker down here and listening to that was what for me that wanted to buy that guitar.
So if you could have one guitar that was purely for sentimental Providence reasons,
it would be this.
Really? Over the guitar
Hendrix
that Prince owned or Hendrix owned or
I got the Prince version.
No, but I mean you could have the actual one that they owned. You could have one, and it would be the actual one, and entirely for sentimental reasons. I think.
For me, because when I started playing guitar, but when I listened to Still Got the Blues and I saw that album cover. That was Prince wasn't in my, but at that time Prince wasn't in my periphery. It was, it would be Gary Moore.
Wow.
You know, I've had, I've listened to Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix and stuff, but I never saw the album. There was never, you never saw like them on the album cover. It was like, you know what I mean? The album cover of Still Got the Blues, where the kid is sitting on the bed in the bedroom with the Marshall Bruce Sprague and the Les Paul on the bed. That I think for me was like, that's why I got a Les Paul.
This is the
back
poll.
then.
In the comments section below now, you can have one guitar, and you don't have to pay for it. You can just have it, and it's entirely for sentimental reasons.
Which one would you? There's no Jimi Hendrix album where on the cover he's standing with a guitar, is there? It's all like psychedelics.
A lot of naked ladies. Or
Yeah, psychedelic, and the same with Led Zeppelin. You don't see Jimmy Page with a guitar on the front, on the album. So I just remember seeing the album when that came out, and it was like,
gosh,
wow.
I can't.
And then I just heard,
so you literally are reckoning a Gary Moore. So that
that made me want a Les Paul.
Wow.
That album cover.
I don't know who I would. I'm really.
You're slightly older than me. By like 10 years. No, but I think I listened. When I grew up, my mum and dad was listening to lots of Led Zeppelin. Beethoven. No, it was all Led Zeppelin, Dire Straits, all of that stuff. But I don't think there was any. There was no when we were young, you took the album out, you look at it, and you look at the cover like that, and they were all. I don't know which one had a guitar on it. When I saw that. Maybe because there was a girl I was like really into at the time, and we listened to Gary Moore, and maybe that, I don't know. But do you know what I mean, though?
I'm just saying what
as an influential album cover to buy a guitar, Gary Moore made me want a Les Paul.
I'm trying to decide if no.
And here's a picture of me when I'm really young playing a Les Paul. Here you go. Look at this. This is epic. But I'm like 14.
I was trying to see what Eric Clapton album that I would have first heard. Was he standing on the cup with a guitar? But I don't think he was either. The
live one, the 24 Nights.
He just often would look,
gormless,
deeply handsome with his suit and his sort of, stubbly beard.
But there was
this
never
is around the 80s. When I was
but that was never. There was. I mean, I'm talking like early 80s, like early 80s or mid 80s.
Well, so I'm not. I don't know what I would want.
The 90s. That when you first become aware of how you look. What age are you when you think like, maybe I should wear this instead of that. Maybe the girls look at me and
teens,
are you like
early
a teeny?
So
that's when that album came out for me, and I saw that kid sitting in his bedroom with that Les Paul. And anyway, we need to finish this video, Lee. These guitars are links below for that, and please like and subscribe because we want 1 million subscribers this year, right?
Also just want to say...
you want to play a bit?
No, well, we should jam out. I do just want to say...
This guitar's incredible, by the way.
I recently put some different pedals on my board, and I'm obviously giving a shout out to the lovely people at Victory here because I'm biased, and as you all know, have an interest in it. I put the Sheriff, which is the there's a lot of misconception, I think, about the V1 series Victory pedals. Mm-hmm. People think they're preamps or something that they're not. They're just normal overdrive pedals that you plug into your amp.
Right, yeah.
And the idea is each one gives you a flavour of the kind of the overdrive channel of that amplifier. And the Sheriff is the one that's obviously sort of Marshall-y inspired.
Which Gary Moore played a lot.
Yeah, and these have all just come down in price recently. So it's £149 down from £199. And I just
shameless plugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds great, man.
Honestly, man.
That's the sound.
That's literally, there's my clean sound. And and Sheriff pedal. I know, obviously, shameless plug, but yes, I thought that sounded great.
I don't think we need to jam out, man. I think it's good. I think people have had enough of this video now.
You're probably right. That is
it's good guitar, right? You're playing it. It's good guitar. I think we need to say goodbye. Goodbye.
I agree. Goodbye. Long video, but I enjoyed it. Thank you, Mr. Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I need a